For the first time in centuries, researchers have uncovered what's believed to be Jesus' tomb inside the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Chris Mitchell takes us to the heart of Jerusalem's Old City, where a major renovation is underway.
Church of the Holy Sepulchre, the most hallowed Christian shrine on earth. According to tradition, this is the very location where Jesus died and was buried.
The tomb of Jesus Christ, a silent guardian of faith, has inspired pilgrims and scholars for centuries, fueling a timeless quest for truth and wonder. This sacred place, rich in religious significance and historical mystery, invites us on a journey where faith, archaeology, and human curiosity meet. What secrets still lie hidden beneath its ancient stones? What new discoveries could forever change our understanding of this revered site? Join us as we explore the enduring mystery surrounding the tomb of Jesus Christ. In this video, we'll walk through the hallowed halls of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, a place steeped in tradition and history. We'll find peace and reflection at the tranquil garden tomb, and venture into the controversial and intriguing Talpiot tomb. By carefully examining the evidence, diving into passionate debates, and reflecting on the spiritual significance of each location, we'll shed new light on a mystery that has captivated believers and historians alike. Get ready for a fascinating journey that spans the ages, as we uncover the secrets hidden in the shadows of faith.
The historian Eusebius said he did it to cover the tomb where Jesus was buried.
After Jesus' crucifixion, a man named Joseph of Arimathea approached Pontius Pilate to request the body of Jesus for burial. As recorded in Mark 15:43, Joseph boldly went before Pilate to make this request. Pilate granted it, and according to Matthew 27:59-60, Joseph took Jesus' body, wrapped it carefully in a clean linen cloth, and placed it in his own new tomb that he had cut out of solid rock. After laying Jesus to rest, he rolled a large stone across the entrance of the tomb and quietly went away. We learn from John 19:39 that Joseph was not alone in this act of devotion. Another secret disciple of Jesus, Nicodemus, accompanied him. Nicodemus brought with him 75 pounds of a costly mixture of myrrh and aloes, expensive spices traditionally used for embalming. The sheer amount of spices Nicodemus provided was extravagant, symbolizing a burial fit for a king. Together, Joseph and Nicodemus hurriedly wrapped Jesus' body along with some of the spices, performing a rushed burial because the Jewish Sabbath was quickly approaching. According to Jewish law, no work, including burial activities, could be performed once the Sabbath began at sundown. Meanwhile, two faithful women, Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of Jesus, observed where Joseph had laid the body. According to Luke 23:56, they returned home to prepare more spices and perfumes, intending to return after the Sabbath to complete a more thorough anointing of Jesus' body. Mark 15:47 and Mark 16:1 confirm that their plan was to come back at sunrise on the day following the Sabbath. But who exactly was this Joseph of Arimathea? He was not the Joseph who had been the husband of Mary, Jesus' earthly mother. Rather, this Joseph was a wealthy man from Arimathea, a town in Judea, Matthew 27:57, Luke 23:51. John 19:38 tells us that Joseph was a disciple of Jesus, although he had kept this allegiance secret because he feared the Jewish leaders. Moreover, Mark 15:43 identifies Joseph as a prominent member of the council, referring to the Sanhedrin, the supreme religious court of the Jews. The Greek term translated as prominent conveys the idea of someone who is honorable, noble, influential, and highly respected. Luke 23:50 further praises him as a good and upright man. Although the Sanhedrin was the very body that condemned Jesus on charges of blasphemy, Joseph did not consent to their actions. While the Sanhedrin's trial of Jesus ended in a unanimous decision to sentence him to death, Luke 23:51 explicitly tells us that Joseph had refused to agree with this verdict or take part in the wrongful judgment. Both Luke and Mark describe Joseph as someone who was waiting for the kingdom of God. The Greek word for waiting here suggests eager anticipation and confident expectation. Joseph had long been looking for God's promised salvation, and when he encountered Jesus, he recognized in him the fulfillment of that hope. Joseph's courageous act of donating his own brand new tomb for Jesus' burial was a significant testimony of his faith and love. It was both a practical and honorable choice. His tomb was located in a garden near the place of the crucifixion, making it accessible as the sun rapidly approached the Sabbath rest, John 19:42. Generally speaking, after Jesus' crucifixion around 30 or 33 AD, his body was laid in a tomb cut from rock, a method of burial typically reserved for the wealthy. This spot, a new, unused tomb, holds deep meaning for millions of Christians, as it became the site where they believe Jesus was resurrected 3 days later. His resurrection is the cornerstone of Christian faith, embodying the victory over death and the promise of eternal life. According to Christian tradition, when the women returned after the Sabbath to complete the burial rituals, they found the tomb empty, a moment that heralded Jesus' resurrection. The Gospel of John's description of the burial site aligns remarkably well with archaeological findings near the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem's Old City. In 2016, a team of archaeologists studying the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, a church built around what is believed to be Jesus' tomb, uncovered compelling evidence. This church stands approximately 500 feet south and 350 feet east of Jerusalem's ancient walls, the ones built by Herod Agrippa a few decades after Jesus' death. When Jesus was buried, this area was outside the city limits, fitting Jewish burial customs, which prohibited burials within city walls. The site's fascinating history reveals that around 125 AD, the Roman Emperor Hadrian built a temple to the Roman goddess Venus over the site, possibly to suppress early Christian veneration of the location. However, the local Jewish Christian community preserved the memory of Jesus' burial spot. Around 325 AD, when Emperor Constantine became the first Christian Roman emperor, he commissioned the construction of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre precisely over the remembered tomb. Constantine's builders constructed a rotunda to enclose the tomb itself, and, adjacent to it, a basilica with side aisles for pilgrims to pray. Between the rotunda and basilica lay the hill of Golgotha, also known as Calvary, the traditional site of Jesus' crucifixion. From the 4th century onward, this area became an urban center, and the tomb was carefully preserved inside the growing cityscape. In recent studies, researchers took a closer look at the tomb. Inside the edicule, the shrine covering the tomb, they removed a marble slab placed there in 1555 to protect the original rock. Beneath it, after working tirelessly for 60 hours, they uncovered another marble slab featuring a carved cross, believed to date from the Crusader period. Beneath that, they revealed the original limestone burial bed, remarkably intact despite centuries of tumultuous history. Additionally, parts of the original limestone cave walls were found within the 18th century structure surrounding the tomb. This was a breathtaking discovery. Antonio Maropoulou, the scientific director of the conservation project, aptly declared, "This is the holiest rock of all time, and now we can finally see it." A special window was created in the shrine's southern wall to allow visitors to glimpse the ancient rock. While absolute archaeological proof remains elusive, as often happens with events so ancient and sacred, numerous clues support the authenticity of the location. Around 300 years after Jesus' crucifixion, Constantine's representatives, seeking to honor Christianity's sacred sites, identified this very place. Their identification was based on the unbroken oral traditions of the early Christians living in Jerusalem. Moreover, the New Testament Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, agree on key burial details: that Jesus was laid in a new tomb belonging to Joseph of Arimathea, who personally requested the body from Pilate. The consistency across all four Gospels lends considerable historical credibility to this site's identification. In addition, archaeological excavations have revealed over 1,000 tombs around Jerusalem, many hewn into rock, consistent with Jewish burial practices of the time. Wealthy Jews of that period, such as Joseph of Arimathea, typically had family tombs carved into limestone, matching the Gospel description. These findings further strengthen the case for the tomb's authenticity. It is also important to note that Jewish law prohibited burials within the city walls, further supporting that Jesus' tomb would have been located outside ancient Jerusalem's boundaries, just as the Gospels describe. After Jesus' crucifixion outside the city limits of Jerusalem, he was laid to rest near the site known as Golgotha, the place of the skull. At the time, the tomb was situated outside the city walls, in accordance with Jewish burial customs. However, as centuries passed and Jerusalem expanded, both Golgotha and Jesus' burial site were eventually enveloped within the city's boundaries. Around 325 AD, the Roman Emperor Constantine the Great, newly converted to Christianity, initiated a mission to locate the precise site of Jesus' tomb. Guided by tradition and accounts passed down by early Christians, Constantine's envoys were led to a Roman temple that had been built approximately 2 centuries earlier by Emperor Hadrian. Historical records suggest that Hadrian, in an effort to suppress the growing Christian faith and affirm the dominance of Rome's traditional religious practices, deliberately constructed a pagan temple over the site that Christians had venerated as Jesus' tomb. The early church historian Eusebius, bishop of Caesarea, documented the astonishing events that unfolded during this search. As Constantine's agents demolished Hadrian's temple, they uncovered beneath it a rock-cut tomb. This remarkable discovery electrified the Christian world. Workers cleared away the rubble, exposing the tomb in its entirety and preparing the ground for a grand new construction. To honor and protect what they believed to be the burial place of Christ, Constantine commissioned the construction of a majestic church around the site, the original Church of the Holy Sepulchre. However, the church's history was far from tranquil. In the early 11th century, during a period of intense religious conflict, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre suffered devastating destruction at the hands of the Fatimid Caliph al-Hakim bi-Amr Allah. Fortunately, it was reconstructed later in the 11th century, restoring its role as a central place of Christian worship and pilgrimage. Fast forward to the 20th century, when archaeologists unearthed compelling physical evidence affirming the ancient origins of the site. They discovered remnants of Hadrian's temple alongside fragments of Constantine's original church walls. Perhaps even more significantly, they uncovered an ancient limestone quarry dotted with at least 6 rock-cut tombs dating from the same period. These findings provided crucial archaeological confirmation that during Jesus' time, the area where the church now stands was indeed a Jewish cemetery located outside the city walls, a key requirement matching the Gospel accounts. Dr. Dan Bahat, a former chief urban archaeologist of Jerusalem, emphasized that although it is impossible to definitively prove the Church of the Holy Sepulchre houses the actual tomb of Jesus, no other site holds as strong and substantiated a claim. Extensive archaeological investigations concluded with the tomb being respectfully resealed beneath its original marble covering to ensure its long-term preservation. Antonio Maropoulou, a key figure in the restoration project, remarked that the tomb may now remain unopened for centuries, or even millennia, thanks to meticulous conservation efforts. During the careful examination of the tomb, experts documented every detail of its rocky surface, uncovering hidden features and intriguing details that deepened the understanding of its historical significance. In 1999, archaeologist Martin Biddle published an exhaustive study on the tomb, highlighting its religious and historical importance. One of the most significant efforts during the opening of the tomb involved examining the walls of the cave for any ancient graffiti or markings left by early Christian pilgrims. Martin Biddle noted that many nearby tombs shared similar architectural features and were decorated with crosses and inscriptions carved or painted into the rock. These markings, left by early believers, served as vital clues into the burial customs and spiritual beliefs of the first centuries after Christ, strengthening the argument that this site had long been revered as sacred. In recent years, a team from the National Technical University of Athens conducted a 5-month comprehensive study of the church's structure. Their efforts focused on fortifying the ancient sanctuary, cleaning, and meticulously recording every architectural feature. Their work gathered a wealth of data that will continue to inform scholarship and deepen our understanding of the site's origins for many years to come. Yet, despite the compelling evidence surrounding the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, another site has also captured the imagination of believers: the Garden Tomb, sometimes called Gordon's Tomb, after the British general Charles Gordon, who popularized it in the 19th century. Nestled within a serene, garden-like setting just north of Jerusalem's Old City, the Garden Tomb offers a peaceful atmosphere that resonates deeply with many Christian pilgrims, especially within evangelical communities. Its tranquil environment and appearance seem to evoke the Gospel's description of Jesus being buried in a garden near the crucifixion site. However, a closer examination of the Garden Tomb reveals significant archaeological challenges. Renowned archaeologist Gabriel Barquet, through careful analysis, dated the tomb to the Iron Age, centuries before the time of Jesus. The architectural style of the tomb, as well as the absence of nearby Second Temple-era burials, points to a period inconsistent with the era of Jesus' death. These findings suggest that while the Garden Tomb may resemble the biblical account in appearance, it likely predates the New Testament events by several hundred years. Despite these archaeological discrepancies, the Garden Tomb continues to hold profound religious and cultural significance. For many Christians, particularly evangelicals, the Garden Tomb serves as a tangible connection to the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. It remains a powerful site for prayer, reflection, and spiritual renewal, even as scholarly debate about its historical authenticity persists. The tension between faith and empirical evidence is apparent in the ongoing discussions about both the Church of the Holy Sepulchre and the Garden Tomb. While archaeological findings provide important context and clues, the deep spiritual meaning attached to these sacred places transcends purely historical inquiry. The enduring quest to uncover the mysteries surrounding the life and legacy of Jesus Christ stands as a poignant reminder of the power of faith, culture, and the relentless pursuit of historical truth. One particularly fascinating chapter in this ongoing journey involves the discovery of the Talpiot tomb, an archaeological find that has stirred intense debate, speculation, and controversy since its unearthing in 1980. Located in the East Jerusalem neighborhood of Talpiot, construction workers accidentally stumbled upon an ancient burial site that would soon captivate scholars and the public alike. This tomb, now famously referred to as the Talpiot tomb, and sometimes even the Jesus family tomb, contained a number of ossuaries, or bone boxes, that bore inscriptions suggesting potential connections to key figures from the New Testament. Among the 10 ossuaries discovered, 6 featured names that immediately sparked scholarly intrigue: Jesus, son of Joseph; Maria, Mariamne, or Mara; and Judah, son of Jesus. At first glance, it might seem remarkable to find such familiar names gathered together in a single tomb. However, historians and archaeologists quickly pointed out an important caution. These names were extraordinarily common in first-century Judea. Names like Jesus, Yeshua, Joseph, Mary, Maria, and Judah, Yehuda, appeared frequently during that era. Still, the intriguing clustering of these names within a single family tomb led some to speculate about a possible link to Jesus of Nazareth and his relatives. The controversy deepened significantly in 2007 when the documentary The Lost Tomb of Jesus was released, produced by filmmaker Simcha Jacobovici and backed by acclaimed director James Cameron. The documentary boldly proposed that the Talpiot tomb was indeed the final resting place of Jesus, his wife Mary Magdalene, and their son Judah. Such claims, if true, would radically alter the foundational narratives of Christianity. The idea of Jesus having a wife and child stands in stark contrast to traditional Christian teachings that assert Jesus lived a celibate life dedicated solely to his divine mission. Unsurprisingly, these claims were met with widespread skepticism and fierce criticism from both archaeologists and biblical scholars. Most experts firmly reject the hypothesis that the Talpiot tomb is connected to Jesus of Nazareth. Critics argue that the statistical likelihood of the tomb belonging to the biblical Jesus is extremely low, given the commonality of the names found on the ossuaries. Furthermore, many scholars accuse proponents of the theory of cherry-picking evidence to support their sensational narrative while disregarding alternative explanations. For instance, the name Mariamne, or Mara, which some have associated with Mary Magdalene, could just as plausibly refer to another Mary entirely. Double names were not unusual at the time, and the inscription may not signify any special relationship to Jesus at all. Skeptics also highlight that no contemporary historical sources ever mention Jesus having a son named Judah, further weakening the theory's credibility. Despite the criticisms, the discovery of the Talpiot tomb underscores the immense challenges involved in interpreting archaeological evidence, especially when it pertains to figures of profound religious significance. Every fragment of stone, every faded inscription becomes a battleground where faith, history, and scientific inquiry collide. Ultimately, whether or not a definitive answer is ever found, the search itself serves as a powerful testament to humanity's unyielding fascination with the past, our insatiable thirst for truth, and our enduring spiritual connection to the story of Jesus Christ. The Ark of the Covenant held an extraordinary level of sanctity in ancient Israelite religious life. Only designated Levite priests were permitted to handle or even approach the Ark, emphasizing its sacredness. It was housed within the tabernacle, a portable tent-like structure meticulously constructed according to God's exact instructions delivered to Moses. At the heart of the tabernacle was the Holy of Holies, an innermost chamber where the Ark resided. Access to this sacred space was extremely limited. Only the high priest could enter, and even then, only once a year on Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. During this solemn occasion, the high priest performed a sacred ritual that involved the sprinkling of blood on the mercy seat, the Ark's gold-adorned lid, symbolizing reconciliation between God and his people. The Ark's sanctity was so profound that any unauthorized contact with it resulted in severe and immediate consequences. One of the most well-known examples is the story of Uzzah, who lost his life instantly after reaching out to steady the Ark as it was being transported on a cart. Similarly, when the Philistines captured the Ark, they suffered from devastating afflictions and diseases until they eventually decided to return it to Israel. These episodes highlight the immense reverence and fear associated with the Ark, underlining its role as a direct symbol of divine presence and power. Adorned with golden cherubim on its lid, the Ark, also known as the mercy seat, served not only as a container for the stone tablets of the law, but also as a powerful symbol of forgiveness and divine communication. It was central to Israelite worship practices, especially regarding the theme of atonement for sin. However, despite its foundational importance, the Ark's fate becomes increasingly mysterious after a certain point in biblical history. The final explicit biblical mention of the Ark appears in 2 Chronicles 35:3, where King Josiah, during his sweeping religious reforms, commands the Levites to return the Ark to the temple. Beyond this reference, the Ark vanishes from the historical and scriptural record, opening the door to countless theories and legends regarding its ultimate destiny. One prevailing theory suggests that the Ark was destroyed when the Babylonians conquered Jerusalem in 586 BCE. Historical accounts from the period describe how Babylonian forces looted the treasures of Solomon's temple. Based on this, many have speculated that the Ark was either seized or destroyed during the conquest. However, this theory faces a major challenge. The Ark is conspicuously absent from the detailed lists of temple items taken by the Babylonians found in the Bible, casting significant doubt on the notion that it was among the spoils. Another intriguing theory takes the search for the Ark far from Jerusalem, to Ethiopia. According to Ethiopian historical and religious traditions, Menelik I, the son of King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba, took the Ark from Jerusalem and transported it to Ethiopia. It is believed to reside to this day in the Church of Saint Mary of Zion in Axum. Ethiopian sacred texts, such as the Kebra Nagast, recount Menelik's journey and the Ark's transfer to Ethiopia, asserting that a sacred lineage of priests has guarded the Ark ever since. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church reinforces this connection by incorporating replicas of the Ark, known as tablets, in major religious celebrations like Timkat. Further evidence suggesting a historical link between Ethiopia and the Ark includes the ancient presence of Jewish communities such as the Beta Israel, as well as claims by Ethiopian rulers of descent from Solomon and Sheba. Nevertheless, while these traditions are deeply embedded in Ethiopian culture, there is a noticeable lack of concrete historical or archaeological proof to confirm Menelik's existence or his alleged role in relocating the Ark, leaving this theory in the realm of legend and religious tradition. Adding another layer to the mystery, Jewish tradition offers an alternative theory that King Josiah, foreseeing Jerusalem's imminent downfall, ordered the Ark and other sacred objects to be hidden beneath the Temple Mount. Some texts even suggest that a special stone marker was inscribed to guide the awaited Messiah to the hidden treasures. Supporting this idea, certain biblical passages, including writings from Jeremiah and Ezekiel, describe God's glory departing from the temple before its destruction, an event some interpret as implying the secret removal or concealment of the Ark. There is also historical and archaeological speculation about undiscovered chambers and tunnels beneath the Temple Mount. Several controversial incidents highlight the sensitivity surrounding excavations in this area. For example, in 1981, a Jewish group attempted to tunnel beneath the Dome of the Rock, believing they were on the verge of discovering the Ark. Similarly, the opening of an ancient cave entrance near the Temple Mount in 1996 triggered widespread riots due to fears that Israeli authorities were attempting to reach the Ark or disturb Islamic holy sites. Despite the excitement these possibilities generate, many scholars remain skeptical. They argue that the theory of the Ark hidden beneath the Temple Mount is based more on religious folklore and wishful thinking than on solid archaeological evidence or direct scriptural confirmation. Furthermore, even if the Ark were found today, its reemergence would likely ignite profound religious and political tensions. Jerusalem's sacred sites are revered by Jews, Christians, and Muslims alike, and the physical recovery of such a powerful religious artifact could have destabilizing global repercussions. Another captivating possibility stems from the discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls, specifically the mysterious Copper Scroll. Unlike the other scrolls, which were written on parchment or papyrus, the Copper Scroll is engraved on thin sheets of copper. It lists 64 locations where vast treasures were supposedly hidden, possibly to protect them from the Babylonians before the fall of Jerusalem. Some scholars believe that these treasures could include sacred objects from the temple, perhaps even the Ark itself. The scroll hints at enormous hidden riches and describes secret caches buried across the Judean desert, though it never directly names the Ark. Ultimately, despite centuries of exploration, speculation, and religious fervor, the fate of the Ark of the Covenant remains one of history's greatest enduring mysteries. Whether hidden beneath Jerusalem, secured in a remote Ethiopian church, or lost forever, the Ark continues to captivate imaginations around the world, an eternal testament to its unmatched spiritual and historical significance.
An Israeli archaeologist says he found the legendary citadel captured by King David. Archaeologist Eli Shukran found the citadel in East Jerusalem.
When Eilat Mazar realized she discovered an ancient structure near Jerusalem, she turned to the Bible to help explain what she found.
And she learned that this new discovery supports the biblical accounts of King David and his son Solomon.
King Solomon is an intriguing figure because the Bible makes so many claims about him, controlling vast amounts of territory.
King Solomon, renowned for his unparalleled wisdom and the majestic temple that once graced Jerusalem's skyline, left a legacy that echoes through the ages. Today, we embark on a breathtaking journey that has captivated scholars worldwide. A team of Israeli archaeologists has recently unearthed the long-lost tomb of this legendary king. The secrets King Solomon took to his grave and uncovered the astonishing artifacts hidden within its hallowed chambers. We are Jesus' eternal aura. In today's video, you will have appropriate answers to all the questions above. Before you know what happened, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and click the bell icon for all the latest updates.
David built himself a magnificent palace here in his new capital, Jerusalem.
Archaeologists have opened King Solomon's tomb after 3,000 years, and what they found inside shocked the world. This historic discovery, the long-lost tomb of King Solomon, the legendary biblical figure celebrated for his immense wealth and wisdom, has been a subject of debate for decades. Many skeptics claimed the tomb was nothing but a myth since no one had successfully found it. However, fate had other plans. A team of scientists and archaeologists, led by Dr. Eilat Mazar from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, made an astonishing discovery. They found the location of Solomon's tomb in the city of David. To solidify the credibility of this discovery, it is worth noting that this wasn't Dr. Mazar's first archaeological find. In 1986, she made a monumental discovery, a large gatehouse located about 150 meters north of the city of David in the Ophel area. At that time, Dr. Mazar didn't have enough evidence to attribute the gatehouse to King Solomon and refrained from making such claims. In 2009, Dr. Mazar resumed her excavations at the Ophel site. Everywhere she dug, layers from the First Temple period were uncovered, revealing a treasure trove of historical insights. With these discoveries, she revisited the dating of the gatehouse, and the fresh evidence led her to conclude that the gatehouse likely dated back to the 10th century BC, during the reign of King Solomon. Why should we trust Dr. Mazar's findings? Dr. Mazar was a brilliant scientist who placed immense value on the scientific method. One of her favorite sayings was, "We must let the stones speak." American lawyer Herschel Shanks, in a 2007 article for Biblical Archaeology Review, emphasized her expertise, stating that no one would question her professional competence as an archaeologist. Dr. Mazar was often seen as a biblical scientist, skillfully blending biblical narratives with her scientific research. Unlike many of her contemporaries, she had no reservations about integrating the Bible into her work. This approach set her apart in a field where science and religion often seem at odds. Among the many artifacts found at the site were over 30 bully, ancient clay seals. One of these particularly captivated Dr. Mazar. Her excitement and dedication to her work were evident, contrasting with the typical skepticism towards combining science and religion. Her profound expertise in archaeology played a crucial role in this significant discovery. What makes this discovery even more astonishing is that the team wasn't even looking for Solomon's tomb. Instead, they were searching for something much larger. Mazar and her team were excavating the oldest part of Jerusalem, hoping to find King David's palace. During their work, they uncovered a massive wall segment about 210 feet long, known in Arabic as the Cave of the Kings. What is this place? What is its purpose? Who built it and why? The archaeologists were eager to find out. The segment they uncovered included a gatehouse, a corner tower, and a royal structure. The archaeologists were stunned by the wall's size, suspecting it might be part of an even grander building, like a temple or palace. They were thrilled at the possibility that this structure was connected to King Solomon's reign. Radiocarbon dating indicated that the site was from the period when King Solomon ruled. Dr. Mazar noted that this was the first time they had found a structure from that era that could match the descriptions of King Solomon's buildings in Jerusalem. But could this have been built by another king and not Solomon? Dr. Mazar explained that there weren't many kings from the 10th century who could have built such a structure. Essentially, it could only have been David or Solomon. According to the Bible, King David, known for his battle with Goliath, was the father of King Solomon, who is credited with constructing the first temple of Jerusalem on the Temple Mount. Ceramics discovered near the wall helped date the structure to the second half of the 10th century BC, which was the era of King Solomon. Near the gatehouse, they found large earthen and water storage vessels, one of which bore a Hebrew inscription indicating it belonged to a high-ranking government official. Other finds included figurines typical of 10th century BC Jerusalem, such as four-legged animals and large-breasted women, likely symbolizing fertility. Moreover, archaeologists found jar handles with inscriptions mentioning the king and various Hebrew names. This makes the discovery even more fascinating and important. The historical and archaeological value of these finds cannot be overstated, as they provide a deeper understanding of the period and its people. For archaeologists, uncovering King Solomon's tomb has long been a monumental goal. The recent discovery of a wall segment in Jerusalem's ancient Ophel area marks a historic breakthrough. Ophel, one of the city's oldest districts, is believed to have been the site of King David's palace. This finding adds fresh layers to our understanding of the region's past, connecting it firmly to biblical narratives that mention King Solomon, the illustrious ruler of ancient Israel, being laid to rest in the city of David. This discovery carries profound implications, as it supports the biblical portrayal of Solomon as a powerful king overseeing a significant kingdom, challenging previous views that diminished his role to that of a minor tribal leader.
Now, all over the place, we have Iron Age, like First Temple period, floor layers, you can see.
After King David, King Solomon's father established his capital in the oldest part of Jerusalem. The area south of the present-day Old City became historically significant. This location, often referred to as the City of David, is believed to be where King David first captured Jerusalem from the Jebusites. Extensive archaeological excavations in this region have unearthed numerous ancient structures and artifacts that provide insights into the early history of Jerusalem. The City of David, also known as W. Hillway, is an archaeological site considered the original nucleus of ancient Jerusalem during the Bronze and Iron Ages. It is situated on the southern part of Jerusalem's eastern ridge, between the Kidron Valley to the west and the Tyropoeon Valley to the east, south of the Temple Mount. The site features remnants dating back to the Middle Bronze Age, including defensive structures around the Gihon Spring. Notable discoveries include large stone buildings and stepstone formations from the Iron Age, sparking scholarly debates about their possible connection to King David or a later era. One of the remarkable discoveries in the City of David is the Siloam Tunnel, also known as Hezekiah's Tunnel. This ancient engineering marvel was constructed to bring water into the city, showcasing the advanced skills of Jerusalem's ancient inhabitants. Originally attributed to Hezekiah, recent excavations suggest it may be even older. Alongside this tunnel, archaeologists have unearthed Roman-era remains, such as the Pool of Siloam and the Strauss Street. Today, these excavated areas are part of the Jerusalem Walls National Park, managed by the Israel Nature and Parks Authority, and operated by the Ir David Foundation. Situated in W. Hillway, an extension of the Palestinian neighborhood of Silwan in East Jerusalem, adjacent to an Israeli settlement, this park is a significant archaeological site. Another significant discovery is a large stone structure believed by some to be the remains of King David's palace. If this massive building is indeed connected to David and Solomon, it underscores the city of David's historical importance as a center of power and administration during their reigns. Despite recent groundbreaking discoveries and significant artifacts found, previous archaeologists struggled to definitively locate any royal tombs belonging to Solomon or his successors. There are several reasons why the tombs of ancient Israelite rulers, such as Solomon, have not been found. One possible reason is that the city of David is vast, and not all parts have been thoroughly excavated in previous efforts. Another possibility is that over the centuries of Jerusalem's turbulent history, including wars and invasions, these tombs may have been destroyed or severely damaged. As a result, ancient structures could have been buried beneath later constructions. However, these challenges did not deter archaeologists from pursuing the search for these royal tombs. They recognized the profound significance such discoveries would have in shedding light on the rulers of ancient Israel and their burial practices. Uncovering these tombs would offer critical insights into that era's governance and cultural customs, enriching our understanding of ancient Israelite society. Nevertheless, the discoveries made within the city of David have been invaluable. They have allowed archaeologists and scientists to piece together the history of Jerusalem and the daily lives of its inhabitants during the United Monarchy period. Each new find has expanded our knowledge and provided clarity about the past, offering glimpses into the rich tapestry of ancient Israelite civilization. The mysteries of Solomon's tomb have long intrigued scholars and enthusiasts alike. Before Dr. Eilat Mazar's groundbreaking discovery, numerous speculations swirled about where Solomon's tomb might lie. Some speculated that it rested beneath the Temple Mount, a site revered by Judaism, Christianity, and Islam alike. Known as Haram al-Sharif in Islam, this noble sanctuary is where Prophet Muhammad's celestial night journey, mounted on a winged horse, is believed to have occurred, an event commemorated by the Dome of the Rock, an architectural marvel of Islam. Over the centuries, the Temple Mount has been contested terrain, seized and ruled by diverse peoples, including the Jebusites, Israelites, Babylonians, Greeks, Persians, Romans, Byzantines, early Muslims, Crusaders, Mamluks, Ottomans, and the British. Spanning just 35 acres, it has witnessed more historical turning points than perhaps any other site globally. Yet archaeologists faced significant hurdles in uncovering its buried secrets, as the Waqf, the Islamic trust in charge of overseeing Muslim holy sites on the Temple Mount, historically barred extensive archaeological digs, citing religious sanctity and resisting what it viewed as sacrilege. Despite sporadic surveys by adventurous Europeans in the late 19th century and limited excavations by the British during the renovation of the Al-Aqsa Mosque in the early 20th century, the depths beneath the Temple Mount remained largely unexplored. This limited exploration meant that even if Solomon's tomb lay concealed there, finding it remained a formidable challenge. Without systematic investigation, the notion of hidden chambers beneath the Temple Mount, while intriguing, remained speculative due to the absence of conclusive evidence. Ancient texts and traditions hint at royal burials near or around the Temple Mount, with stories suggesting that kings like Solomon were possibly interred close to this sacred precinct. The connection to Solomon's temple, the epicenter of Israelite worship built under King Solomon's guidance, further fueled beliefs that his final resting place might be close to this revered structure. Additionally, some ancient texts allude to hidden chambers and secret passages beneath the revered Temple Mount, suggesting the existence of rooms or tunnels where significant artifacts, possibly including royal tombs, might have been concealed. Unfortunately, The inability to explore these areas makes it challenging to substantiate these intriguing tales. Archaeologists have conducted meticulous investigations around the Temple Mount, but have yet to unearth definitive evidence of Solomon's tomb. These efforts are carefully executed to preserve the site's integrity and historical significance. While these excavations have yielded fascinating artifacts and structures, the mystery of Solomon's final resting place remains.
The city of David has been the most excavated site in Israel over the past 150 years. Here you can see the remains of King David's palace.
The question of Solomon's tomb has intrigued historians, archaeologists, and religious enthusiasts for centuries. The mystery remains unresolved, with various theories suggesting different possible locations for the final resting place of this legendary king. One popular theory speculates that Solomon's tomb lies within the Temple Mount, a site of profound significance for archaeology and history. The discovery of Solomon's tomb there would be monumental, yet the quest for this tomb extends beyond the Temple Mount. Mount Zion has also been proposed as a possible site for Solomon's tomb. Traditionally associated with the city of David, this belief originates from a historical misunderstanding. King David's actual burial site lies in the southeastern part of Jerusalem's Old City, in an area known as the City of David. Early 20th century excavations by French archaeologist Raymond Weil uncovered structures believed to be royal tombs in this area. Today, it is widely accepted that David was buried in the City of David, south of the Temple Mount, debunking the notion that Solomon's tomb might be on Mount Zion. According to some accounts, there is a belief that Solomon's body was taken to Ethiopia and buried in a hidden place. This idea is supported by long-standing Ethiopian traditions, which claim to possess relics connected to Solomon, including his crown and throne. Another theory proposes that Solomon's body may not have been buried at all, but could have been cremated or otherwise destroyed. This theory arises from the lack of clear evidence or archaeological discoveries definitively identifying the location of Solomon's tomb. The mystery surrounding Solomon's ultimate resting place remains a captivating topic for scholars, historians, and archaeologists, continuing to be shrouded in uncertainty and intrigue. Deep beneath the bustling streets of Jerusalem's Old City lies a hidden world of mystery and legend known as Zedekiah's Cave. Also called Solomon's Quarries, this enormous limestone quarry has fascinated scholars, adventurers, and curious visitors for centuries. Legend has it that this vast underground chamber, stretching over 5 city blocks, served as a hiding place for King Zedekiah, a Judean ruler from the 6th century BCE, during the siege of Jerusalem. According to the biblical commentator Shlomo Yaki, affectionately known as Rashi, King Zedekiah sought refuge in the cave as the Babylonian army advanced. Rashi describes a thrilling tale of Zedekiah's escape, where God sent a deer running above ground to guide the pursuing soldiers to the cave's exit just as Zedekiah emerged, allowing them to capture and blind him. This chilling story adds to the cave's allure. Zedekiah's cave has also sparked interest due to its connection to the Freemasons. The Freemasons consider Zedekiah's cave a sacred site, believing it to have been a meeting place for the Knights Templar. They think the cave holds secret symbols and codes hinting at hidden knowledge. However, there is no solid evidence to support this theory. Today, Zedekiah's cave is a popular tourist attraction, with guided tours taking visitors through its vast halls and narrow passages. Modern renovations and an audio-visual show enhance the experience, allowing visitors to imagine the cave's busy past. It was once a quarry for the materials used in constructing King Solomon's first temple and other grand buildings that adorned the city. Before the recent discoveries, various theories about the location of Solomon's tomb circulated among archaeologists, scientists, and scholars. Some suggested Mount Zion, a hill in Jerusalem linked with the city of David, as a possible site for the royal tombs of the Davidic dynasty, including Solomon. However, this idea stemmed from a misunderstanding. The widely accepted belief that King David is buried on Mount Zion is not accurate. In reality, King David's burial place lies in the southeastern part of Jerusalem's Old City, south of the Temple Mount, in an area known today as Ir David, or the City of David. According to 1 Kings 2:10 in the Bible, King David died and was laid to rest in the City of David. The text also notes David's reign over Israel for 40 years, encompassing 7 years in Hebron and 33 years in Jerusalem. Following David's passing, Solomon succeeded his father on the throne and established his rule. Despite this, Zion historically refers to ancient Jerusalem. During the Middle Ages, Byzantine pilgrims mistakenly identified the hill south of today's Old City's Armenian Quarter as part of ancient Jerusalem and named it Mount Zion. The city David conquered was situated on a lower hill to the south of the Temple Mount. This hill was originally the Jebusite city, which became King David's capital and encompassed the entirety of Jerusalem for more than 200 years. Over time, the city expanded westward to include what is now known as Mount Zion. The mistaken belief that King David was buried on Mount Zion persisted for centuries. During the 2nd century CE, Jerusalem suffered destruction, Jews were exiled, and knowledge of King David's actual tomb location faded. The Bible offers an initial clue, stating that King David, along with his son Solomon and subsequent kings of Judah for the next 150 years, were interred in Ir David, likely a part of today's City of David. In 1913, French archaeologist Raymond Weil excavated what he thought could be tombs in Jerusalem's City of David, potentially the royal burial place of the earliest Old Testament kings. Some scholars disputed Weil's findings, but archaeologist Jeffrey Zorn's analysis suggests Weil might have been correct. Despite the long-standing belief, dating back to the 1st century CE historian Josephus, that King David's tomb lay on Mount Zion, earlier biblical references point to David and other kings of that era being buried near the southern reaches of the City of David in ancient Jerusalem. Jeff Zorn posits that 2 quarry tunnels in the City of David might have once housed the remains of ancient Jerusalem's earliest Old Testament kings. In the 19th century, diplomat Charles Clermont-Ganneau proposed that the curved path of Hezekiah's tunnel towards its southern end was designed to avoid these royal tombs. The debate over the exact location of Solomon's tomb continues, adding to the intrigue and mystery that surrounds the legacy of this ancient king.
As a rare and exciting discovery by the Israel Antiquities Authority and Tel Aviv University is announced. A 2,600-year-old bulla, or seal impression, has just been unearthed at the Givati Lot excavations in the City of David National Park in Jerusalem.
Designed to avoid disturbing the burial grounds of these ancient kings, Raymond W. oversaw excavations on Baron Rothschild's City of David property starting in 1913, continuing through 1914, and again from 1923 to 1924. Despite later quarrying that disturbed the area, he uncovered ancient walls, ritual pools, cisterns, and a circular tower now thought to be a columbarium. Most significantly, he identified 9 rock-cut features as tombs, interpreting the most prominent ones, labeled T1 and T3, as part of the royal necropolis of the Old Testament kings of ancient Jerusalem. After hearing all these fascinating theories, some people think Solomon's tomb was purposefully hidden to keep it safe from thieves and invaders. This was a common practice for royal burials in ancient times. Some theories even suggest that Solomon's tomb could be in a more secretive spot, perhaps outside the traditional City of David due to political or religious issues during chaotic periods. For example, there's the legendary Seal of Solomon, also called the Ring of Solomon. According to medieval mystical traditions, this famous ring is said to have belonged to King Solomon. It's often shown as a pentagram or hexagram, and is believed to have given Solomon the power to control supernatural beings and talk to animals. The earliest mentions of Solomon's seal come from Jewish traditions. The 1st century Jewish historian Josephus first mentioned it, and it's also referenced in the 3rd century Jewish magical text Sefer Harazim and in a section of the tractate Gittin within the Babylonian Talmud. Now, the tomb of the kings in Jerusalem is finally open to the public. Medieval Europeans thought this site held the burials of King David and King Solomon. Although this theory has been proven wrong, the name still sticks. The tombs were originally built in the 1st century CE and were reused for many years. French archaeologist Louis Félicien de Saulcy was the first to excavate the site in 1863. He aimed to confirm that these tombs belonged to David and Solomon. This dig is considered by some to be the first modern archaeological excavation in Jerusalem. During his work, de Saulcy found several coffins. One of these coffins, now in the Louvre Museum in Paris, has 2 lines of Aramaic inscribed on it, reading Sadan the Queen and Sada the Queen. This rich history, filled with legends and discoveries, makes the story of Solomon's tomb a captivating tale. In the dimly lit chamber, draped in shadows of antiquity, King Solomon's regal remains lay undisturbed for millennia. Dr. Jonathan Hayes, a renowned archaeologist, examined the corpse, his breath misting in the ancient air. As Hayes and his team gazed upon the artifacts, and King Solomon's tomb opened after 3,000 years, what they found inside shocked the world. The king's crown, adorned with sapphires that shimmered faintly even after centuries, rested atop his weathered skull. Hayes carefully brushed away dust, revealing intricate carvings depicting Solomon's legendary wisdom and victories. As the archaeologist examined the royal scepter, a whisper of awe filled the tomb. The walls, lined with scrolls thought to have been lost to time, told tales of alliances and conquests that reshaped ancient lands. One scroll, remarkably preserved, bore Solomon's own musings on justice and governance, written in a script both elegant and enigmatic. Hayes's heart raced with the weight of history unfolding before him. Could these artifacts rewrite our understanding of Solomon's reign? Each artifact, from golden items to ancient coins, held clues to an era steeped in mystery and power. The discovery promised to reveal more than just Solomon's legacy, shedding light on the complex history of long-lost ancient kingdoms. As Hayes pondered the implications, a question echoed in his mind. What other secrets lie buried beneath the sands of time, waiting to be unearthed? In addition to theories and speculations, certain artifacts discovered in the city of David offer intriguing hints about the possible location of King Solomon's tomb. Among these artifacts are bullae and seals inscribed with names from biblical times, dating back to Solomon's era. These discoveries provide captivating clues that point towards where his burial place might be. A bulla is a small token made of clay or soft metal, historically used for authentication and to ensure documents could not be tampered with during ancient times. From 8000 to 7500 BCE, farmers in Sumer used small clay tokens to keep track of their animals and goods. As time passed, they found it more useful to mark these tokens on clay tablets, which eventually led to the creation of cuneiform writing around 3100 BCE. The earliest tokens were discovered in the Zagros region of Iran, and later on, similar seals made of metal were called bullae. Most of these seals were made of lead, although some were even crafted from gold, as seen in seals used by Byzantine and Holy Roman emperors, as well as other monarchs during the Middle Ages. In recent archaeological discoveries, a team excavating a small site in Israel uncovered 6 official clay seals. The unearthed artifacts indicate that this region was not just a remote outpost, but a central hub of governance and trade. The intricate carvings found on these relics suggest a sophisticated society with highly skilled craftsmen and advanced artistic techniques. The discovery of royal seals and official documents further implies a well-organized bureaucracy that efficiently managed the kingdom's affairs. If King Solomon's tomb is indeed discovered, it would not only confirm the accounts in biblical texts, but also illuminate the splendor and authority of the ancient Israelite monarchy. The archaeological significance of such a find cannot be overstated, as it would provide invaluable insights into the history and culture of ancient Israel. Unveiling the tomb of King Solomon could offer invaluable insights into the political, social, and religious dynamics of his era. Historians and scholars from around the globe would undoubtedly flock to the site, eager to study and analyze these discoveries, hoping to uncover more secrets from the past. Nevertheless, the quest to locate King Solomon's tomb faces numerous challenges. The rugged terrain and ongoing political instability in the region present significant obstacles to archaeological exploration. Local conflicts and territorial disputes may further complicate the process, hindering researchers from conducting thorough investigations. Moreover, the sheer scale of the task, searching for a single tomb in a vast and ancient landscape, requires meticulous planning and precision to ensure success. Despite these challenges and the passage of time, the quest to uncover Solomon's tomb continues to fascinate those intrigued by Jerusalem's rich history. From the Tomb of the Kings, once a place of royal burials, to the discoveries of artifacts and seals within the city of David, the search for the legendary ruler's final resting place remains an enduring fascination. Recent archaeological findings within the sacred grounds of the city of David have caused a stir among scholars. These small yet significant artifacts, such as historic seals and clay impressions, bear the names of biblical kings long considered mythical. They have revitalized the study of ancient Israelite history, challenging long-standing doubts about the historical accuracy of biblical accounts. Solomon's legacy, whether fact or fiction, continues to be a topic of great debate. Despite the remarkable discoveries, controversies persist regarding the existence of figures such as David and Solomon. For example, excavators assert they have unearthed Solomon's stables at Megiddo, a site linked to the biblical narrative of Armageddon. According to the Bible, Megiddo and two other cities housed horses and chariots for Solomon's legendary cavalry. However, further excavations yielded no horse bones or clear evidence of such stables, casting doubt on these claims. In parallel searches, researchers have sought Solomon's renowned mines, which were crucial for procuring materials to build the first temple. Many attempts have yielded little, yet a 2017 study identified extensive ancient copper mining in nearby Jordan, dating to a period aligning with Solomon's reign. If Israel controlled this area, it could have been a vital source of minerals and wealth, supporting the grandeur attributed to Solomon's kingdom. Beyond archaeological endeavors, biblical historians have scrutinized traditional accounts of Solomon. The texts include extraordinary claims, such as Solomon having 700 wives and 300 concubines over his lifetime, a number that stretches reality. One of these wives was purportedly the pharaoh's daughter, yet Egyptian records do not confirm such a union. Scholars suggest Egyptian pharaohs were cautious about marrying off their daughters, fearing political repercussions. One of the most questionable assertions, according to critics, is that Solomon possessed an impressive 1,400 chariots, implying a military force capable of competing with other major civilizations. Despite the absence of tangible evidence for Solomon's stables, an inscription commemorating a military victory, and references in the Bible assert that the Egyptian pharaoh Shishak invaded Israel, ransacked Jerusalem, and plundered all the treasures from the first temple just 5 years after Solomon's death. The rapidity of this conquest suggests an effortless triumph, raising doubts about the true military prowess of the ancient Israeli kingdom during that era. Such grandiose claims have led some scholars of biblical history to propose that the legendary strength attributed to Solomon was possibly exaggerated by historians many centuries later, aiming to elevate their civilization to the stature of other renowned kingdoms. The discovery of Solomon's tomb could significantly reshape our understanding of ancient history and biblical narratives, potentially providing concrete evidence to support or refute these long-standing stories. The potential of uncovering Solomon's tomb lies not just in the physical artifacts, but also in the broader historical context it would provide. If found, the tomb could contain inscriptions, relics, and other materials that would offer a more nuanced view of Solomon's reign, his kingdom's extent, and its interactions with neighboring cultures. Such a discovery could also shed light on the daily lives, religious practices, and political structures of the time, offering a richer and more detailed picture of the era. Furthermore, the search for Solomon's tomb is emblematic of the broader quest to understand the roots of modern civilization. Jerusalem, a city with a layered history of conquests, exiles, and cultural exchanges, serves as a focal point for these investigations. The Tomb of the Kings, for instance, is not just a burial site, but a symbol of the continuity and change that have characterized the region for millennia. Recent archaeological efforts have unearthed significant findings in the city of David, including artifacts that challenge previous assumptions about the historicity of biblical narratives. These discoveries, while small, carry immense implications. For example, seals bearing the names of biblical figures suggest a degree of historical accuracy that was previously questioned by some scholars. These findings have reignited interest in the historical basis of the Bible, prompting a re-evaluation of long-held beliefs about the ancient world. In summary, the quest to locate King Solomon's tomb is fraught with challenges, but remains a tantalizing prospect for historians and archaeologists. The discovery of the tomb could transform our understanding of ancient Israelite history, providing new insights into the political, social, and religious dynamics of the era. It could also validate or challenge existing biblical narratives, offering a more comprehensive view of one of history's most enigmatic figures. As researchers continue their search, the story of Solomon's tomb serves as a reminder of the enduring allure of uncovering the past and the ever-present possibility of rewriting history with each new discovery.
There's been an upsurge of interest recently in the visions of Fatima. What we understand about those visions makes a significant difference of whether in the end time, in these last days, we'll be deceived or not.
Can people really see the future? Receive messages from across time and space? For centuries, seers and prophets have come forward, offering dramatic visions of mankind.
Welcome to today's video, where we delve into one of the most chilling mysteries of the Church, the third secret of Fatima. Locked away in the depths of the Vatican archives, this enigmatic secret has remained shrouded in mystery for decades. Despite the curiosity and speculation surrounding it, 3 popes have opted to keep it concealed, raising questions about its potential impact on humanity. Join me as we uncover the truth behind this elusive secret and explore why the Vatican has hesitated to unveil it to the world. Prepare to be astonished as we unravel the shocking revelation linking the third secret of Fatima to the assassination attempt on John Paul II. Is this merely the tip of the iceberg signaling a chain of ominous events to come? Join us in this video as we uncover the harrowing influence of the third secret of Fatima and its potential implications for humanity. The third secret of Fatima. We're diving deep into the mysteries surrounding the third secret of Fatima. Now, for those unfamiliar, Fatima is a small town in Portugal where, in 1917, 3 young shepherd children claimed to have witnessed apparitions of the Virgin Mary. It's a tale that's captivated millions, and within it lies a message that some believe foretells the future. The third secret, shrouded in secrecy for decades, has sparked millennial fears and fueled endless speculation. But let's start from the beginning. During these apparitions, Mary, the mother of Jesus, appeared to these children 6 times, urging them to pray the rosary daily and to devote themselves to her Immaculate Heart. However, it was during the final sighting that she shared what's become known as the third secret. Fast forward to October 13, 1917, a day that would go down in history as the miracle of the sun. Throngs of the faithful gathered in Fatima, reporting an extraordinary event, the sun dancing in the sky. This phenomenon added an otherworldly dimension to the already profound experiences of the shepherd children. One of these children, Lucia, later became a Carmelite nun and, in 1942, revealed the first 2 parts of the secret in her memoirs. The first part was a harrowing vision of hell that deeply shook the children. Since then, they've fervently prayed for the conversion of sinners. The second part was prophetic, with Mary warning of the onset of World War II and the expansion of communism, leading to the persecution of the Church and the Pope. To avert these calamities, Mary urged devotion to her Immaculate Heart and the consecration of Russia. Now, here's where it gets really intriguing. Lucia, under orders from the local bishop, wrote down the third secret, but hesitated to share it. It remained sealed until 2000, when it was finally disclosed during the beatification of Francisco and Jacinta Marto, the other 2 shepherd children. In her writings, Lucia describes a vision of an angel holding a flaming sword, symbolizing impending judgment. The angel's cry for penance echoes throughout the ages, a call to repentance and spiritual renewal. But the most chilling aspect of the third secret is its depiction of a bishop dressed in white, presumed to be the Pope, being martyred. This imagery has been interpreted in various ways, with many seeing parallels to the assassination attempt on Pope John Paul II's life in 1981. The vision unfolds with the Pope, accompanied by other clergy and faithful, ascending a steep mountain, symbolizing the challenges faced by the Church. Along the way, they encounter a city in ruins, a stark reminder of the world's brokenness. At the summit, the Pope kneels before a large cross, only to be struck down by soldiers, mirroring the martyrdom of Christians throughout history. The scene is haunting. Yet, amidst the tragedy, there's a glimmer of hope. The angels collecting the blood of the martyrs, a symbol of redemption and salvation. The third secret of Fatima remains a subject of debate and interpretation, but its message is clear: a call to repentance, prayer, and unwavering faith in the face of adversity. So what do you make of the third secret? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Vatican discloses third secret of Fatima. To truly grasp the significance of the third secret, we must first understand its origins. The events of Fatima, which unfolded in the small Portuguese town in 1917, marked a turning point in the spiritual landscape of the 20th century. It was here that 3 shepherd children, Lucia dos Santos and her cousins Francisco and Jacinta Marto, reported apparitions of the Virgin Mary. Throughout these apparitions, Mary conveyed a series of messages to the children, imploring them to pray the rosary daily, offer sacrifices for the conversion of sinners, and consecrate themselves to her Immaculate Heart. But it was during the final apparition on October 13, 1917, that Mary revealed what would become known as the third secret. Fast forward to the 1980s, a tumultuous time marked by political upheaval and social unrest. The world looked to Pope John Paul II, a towering figure whose papacy was deeply intertwined with the events of Fatima. It was during his pontificate that the third secret would come to the forefront of global consciousness. In 1982, on the first anniversary of the assassination attempt against him, Pope John Paul II made a pilgrimage to the shrine of Fatima to offer thanks for his survival, a survival he attributed to the intercession of the Virgin Mary. This pilgrimage, laden with symbolism and spiritual significance, underscored the Pope's profound connection to Fatima and its messages. But the story doesn't end there. In 1991, on the 10th anniversary of the assassination attempt, Pope John Paul II returned to Fatima once again, this time to give thanks not only for his life, but also for the collapse of communism, a collapse many believed had been foretold by the Virgin of Fatima. Now, let's turn our attention to the third secret itself. For decades, it remained shrouded in secrecy, sparking speculation and conspiracy theories. Some went to extreme lengths, even resorting to hunger strikes and acts of terrorism to pressure the Vatican into disclosing it. In 2000, the Vatican finally revealed what it claimed was the entire third secret. But the reaction was mixed. Many felt that the revelation fell short of the urgent warnings issued by the Virgin over the years. Instead, the Vatican's report seemed to suggest that everything foretold in the secret had already come to pass. This discrepancy left many feeling unsettled. The world, they observed, was still plagued by corruption, moral decay, and societal upheaval, echoing the dire predictions of Fatima.